Yeah. Finding it all.
It was like, yoga's
Sweet as. Made it.
Hello.
Yeah. We've got Drew in the house, Hell on Two Wheels, Big Bert. He's at work, but he's listening in on his phone.
Attaboy.
And he says there's 5. It's probably us 2 and a few others. It's all good.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for doing this, man. I know it's been a long time coming, but
it's been a real long time. Thank you for having me on. We've been trying to get this done for it's got to be a year and a half.
Oh, definitely. And the whole COVID thing throws a spanner in the mix as well. But yeah, even way back, probably us around the same time when you had Rob Throttle Down Under on your stream, your live there way back. So, and
yep.
But we got Matt. He's a few of them are at work already. Well, they're currently at work. Should be listening on my phone, like they all are.
Nothing wrong with a good podcast. I can tell you that much.
Exactly right. But no, I'm rapt that you said yes and you can come on because like I'm a big Adam Sandoval fan and I started watching you when you actually took him 4-wheeling out the back there somewhere near your area or his area. I can't quite remember.
Yeah, it was actually out here just east of San Diego. We went to a place called Superstition, which is right before probably about I'd say an hour from the Arizona border. So right on the southern line. So yeah, he came out and took him out into my backyard, and we just had a blast, man.
Yeah, it looked good, and like I said, all the sunset, the weather looked awesome, and being out there, definitely one place I'd love to go and see for sure. Like you see that over here, and you go, "Oh, geez, that's good," and then you guys see our country, and you just want to come over here and suss ours out. It's sort of a bit of a catch-22,
which is ironic because it only rains like 5 days a year here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm joking, but right now it's currently dumping rain. So
that's the Luna. We've had that for 2.5 years. We had the biggest flood ever in the first year, and that was straight after the drought. And another two years after that, we've had another 2 floods in that as well. And but we've been smashed a fair bit, and with the COVID and the floods, it's really put the country in the debt a bit. But we're all suffering with high electricity bills and higher food prices and everything, fuel, trying to pay the debt back. And yeah, they're really slamming the working man, and everyone's struggling at the moment. But okay, that's life. We just sort of got to look at the positives and keep happy.
Yeah, man, that's tough. That's tough. I didn't even think about that, going through droughts and then floods. No happy
Yeah, well,
medium there.
especially like having like 3 floods in 2.5 years. Like some areas have had the 3, and we've had 2 floods out of the 3. But 9 times out of 10, I know Lismore copped it twice, and then yeah, they just cleaned up after the first one, and we're starting to settle back in. And then we got another big downpour, and it flooded again, and the dam overflowed, and all sorts. Yeah, it was just. We're glad the rain's over. That's for sure. We're all going. It can't keep raining. Like we got to get sun sooner or later. But
Right.
it's and also doing that, like 4-wheel drive tracks out bush now, they're all changed. So you really we got to go and suss out all the tracks where we've been and to see if they're roadworthy to even actually get a car 4 up and down it. So it's the tracks are really gnarly around here, and even more so. So.
Well, I guess if for somebody who, like yourself, that's been off-roading out there all, forever, now that it's changed with all the flooding, it's almost like you're rediscovering those roads. You can't really get bored with it. I guess if there is a silver lining.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. And I'm swamped with editing because when I first got my car, which was sort of when COVID hit, we got plenty of footage and it was all green and like that because it's just sort of around the rain. And now it's completely changed. Like I said, the creek that we used to drive through, you can't get through now because there's a 2-foot drop into the water, so you can't get across it at all. And a lot of bridges are washed away because of all the rain we've had. But in saying that, also there is a forest here called Yarra Forest, and that's in the wet. It's real boggy in the wet, and me and the missus just hit it probably a fortnight ago because it's been so dry. We actually went a few tracks, and it's actually a good grown over and 4-wheel drive technical track because it's all dry. A couple of little bog holes, but because it's been dry for so long, you just get through it and a bit of momentum and that. But it was actually good to drive that dry for once instead of knowing you're going to get bogged and you need someone to pull you out because that's what that place is like.
So it's not a place that you would ever want to 4x just by yourself, right? You usually want to have a buddy.
Exactly right. You got to have a winch or you go with someone because it's definitely plenty of bog holes. And when the big boys, like they're the ones with the big tires, 35, 33-inch tires and then some and lift kits, they get out there and just dig the ruts too deep and you can't get through it in your sort of normal 4-wheel drive with 2-inch lift and decent tires. But the big boys get out there and sort of rip it apart a bit.
Yep.
We got Ronan, Roland Keith. Hey, mate, how you going? And no worries. But yeah, like I said, yeah, Adam Sandwell, he sort of got me all started in this whole thing. Started watching him when he was still doing the tail end of his 100 Harley shops, like going to all the dealers around the country.
Mm-hmm.
Only just caught the tail end of him, and way back before he bought his K River and all that, we've seen all that. I've been watching him constantly, and then he said, "I want to get a park," and then he's got that, and he's built it up. He's building it even more, having all them 4B tracks and all that, and tree houses are awesome. That's definitely a bucket list goal for me to go over and say good day to him, and that's for sure. And
it's unbelievable. Yeah. It really is what he's done with that. And like you, I mean, I was watching him when he was just even dreaming, daydreaming about that, that one day goal of having a campground and then watching it come into fruition and everything that he's done. And I absolutely will tell you that is one of my favorite places, if not the favorite place to go and to be and to ride to. And it's with everything. It's from, the staff that's there, that is just, everybody's just having a good time. And, you're just around other motorcycle enthusiasts the entire time.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, it's not too bad of a ride. It's about a 2.5 day ride for me to get out there. And I just love being out there and the riding. Believe it or not, the riding in Oklahoma, whoever would have thought of it.
Yeah,
I had no idea that it was that awesome, but it is.
yeah, it looks good out there, all through the bush and all that out there, in the country, and it's definitely a nice place. All right, what have you got? At the wrong end of the questions here. We'll bring the first question up. We'll get it started. It's it's not a test.
Oh, okay.
It's
Here I
nice.
am sitting in my chair a little higher. I'm like, all right.
I remember I had a VS chick on. She's answering. I'm like, oh, is it a test or did I pass? And it's just I just ask questions, sort of get to know you, know a bit about the person on the YouTube channel and things like that. And some are a bit out there, and others are. Yeah, you'll see. A lot of people love it. So, and no, it's good. The first one's pretty basic. It's we'll put it on here now. So it says where are we? Number one. Yeah. What inspired you to do your YouTube channel? And plus, when did you learn to moto?
Okay. So I guess I'll do this in kind of reverse. Kind of how I learned to ride the motorbike was so years ago, I must have been 8 at the time. And I remember being on a 4-buying trip, ironically, with my dad. And we were coming back from the trip. It was a weekend trip. And we decided that we came back on like a Sunday afternoon, and we went through a place called Ocotillo Wells. And it's a big place for off-roading and dirt biking and things like that. He made the comment to me that, one of these days we're going to get a couple bikes, you and I, and we're just going to ride around, maybe ride across the country on some Harleys. But of course I'm 8 and I'm looking at dirt bikes and everybody's in their dirt bike gear and matching helmets and all that kind of stuff. Right. So I didn't really care about the riding on the road. I wanted to be an 8-year-old kid with a dirt bike and doing jumps and stuff. So every year I would think for my birthday or for Christmas that my dad would surprise me with this bike. And I was so crushed every single Christmas and every single birthday that I did not get a motorbike. So actually, I take that back. He did buy me a motorbike one year, but it was a little toy motorbike as a joke, and I wasn't really happy with him about that either. So, as I got older, I was in high school, and one of my buddies, he had some property, or his family's house had some property, and I remember being up there and going in the garage, and I see a couple dirt bikes in the garage, and we're just kind of checking them out. And I hadn't ridden technically ever. And his dad comes in and he goes, "Well, Ryan, do you know how to ride? And what do you do?" "Well, you lie. You say, 'Yep, sure do.'"
Yeah.
And so his name was Jake. And I remember Jake asking his dad, he's like, "Hey, can we take the bikes out on the trails?" And he's like, "Sure." So I remember getting on the bike and staring over at him and just kind of watching what he was doing, with the levers. And I kind of had a general consensus, and I was an athlete, so my balance was all right, but got it into first gear, was kind of paying attention how he was shifting. However, I didn't know how to downshift at this point. So I learned that later, but that was my first experience actually on a motorbike. And then, I just kind of got addicted to that feeling of riding. And so finally, after, when I'm going to say circa 2000, it was 2000, I bought my first street bike, which was a Kawasaki ZX6R. And I quickly outgrew that bike and went into another sport bike and got the Suzuki Gixxer 750 amongst other bikes. Then I got dirt bikes, and it just took things away. Now, back then, I was riding here in Southern California with a very big group. And I mean, on Friday nights, there could be 100 to 150 of us taking up different streets throughout San Diego. And you basically go to different coffee shops, and you go to downtown off Fifth Avenue, and we would just line the streets with bikes. It was a really cool feeling. And my buddies wanted to create a film, like an extreme sports film. And of course, I volunteered for this, and they all said, no. We need somebody that actually knows how to do this. You can't do it. So because they told me I couldn't, all I did is I just started studying. Never went to film school, never did anything. This is pre-YouTube.
Oh, good stuff.
And it was just reading a book. So it was actually called the Adobe Premiere Pro Bible, and it was about that thick. And I read that book, and then I finally bought the program. And when I bought it, it was actually on floppy disk.
Yeah.
So I bought the program, and I just slowly started teaching myself how to edit. So we had a lot of this film. We were filming all the time. We were renting helicopters. We were doing all this stuff just to make sure that we had all these different shots. And I decided to create, and they were trying to work, we were gathering all the footage anyway, but they were trying to find an editor. But I took everybody's footage and I made this trailer, and I sent it off to a distribution company kind of behind their backs a little bit, just to say, hey, if this video is in, production right now, would you be interested? And I remember getting the answer back that like, absolutely, you take that. We will go ahead and sell this for you and be your distributor. And so I bring it to my buddies. They're like, no way. So we completed this film. It was like a 33-minute film. Yeah. It's called Up on One. And it ended up selling all over the world. And I edited it from beginning to end. And from there, I just became addicted to that editing process and creating films. So, then you fast forward to 2005, and YouTube starts coming out, and everybody starts talking about it, kind of like when AOL started coming out, and it was just everybody was talking about this thing called YouTube.
Yeah.
Well, I boycotted YouTube like the plague. I didn't, when they presented it to me at the time of the release, I had 40 films that were completely done. And I had multiple buddies telling me, hey, you have to put these videos out on this thing called YouTube. And I said, there is no way on this planet that I'm going to put this out there for free. Right. This was probably the biggest mistake I think about all the time.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was going to be today, but I was like, there's no way. I'm just not going to do it. So I boycotted doing the YouTube thing for a long, long time. Stuck with video production. And then about 5 years ago now, I started getting into photography, and now I'm obsessed with photography along with videography. But so when my oldest daughter was born, I took a little bit of a break from writing. And then in January of 2020, I got my the Harley I have now, which is the Road Glide Special. And I decided, okay, I'm going to do the YouTube thing with this channel, kind of combine my two passions of writing, and just see what I can come up with where I'm filming and producing content that's for me. I'm not getting approval from anybody, from a client, or from anybody else. If I want to throw it out there, I will. If I don't, I don't. I don't need, it'll just be what I want to film. And that's kind of how this was created. And it's been a blast ever since.
Now, I remember when you did that other one, like just recently, or probably last year, when you did that mini film and you put it in and all that, and mate, that was awesome. And
thank you.
You can tell. Like it was, there's a fella over here who watches Harley Throttle Juice and Roger. Like he's a photographer. And he's cinematic with his videoing and all that, and editing and putting it all together. You can tell the ones that got that knack in them, they got an eye for it. Like I can grab a camera and go out and take photos, but it's just not the same to someone that's got the eye and knows how to. I don't know. They just have an eye, just got a knack for it, and trying. But yeah, it's a slow process.
Well, absolutely. And I think the biggest thing is just to enjoy that process, right? Enjoy learning. I think that's why I got into photography much later, and is to always keep creating. I mean, I've been doing video editing for 22, now going to be 23 years, and I'm still learning video editing and new ways to do things. I mean, you just never, I enjoy the learning process and being kind of that student. And then with photography, starting from absolute ground zero, it's been an absolute blast. So I would just say, 100% enjoy the process. those films that I mean, Every Mile of Memory is definitely
Yeah,
a deeper film.
that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah,
But I will say that it takes a lot out of you. Doesn't matter how
yeah.
long you've been doing. I mean, when I get done with those, I mean, I am mentally, emotionally,
It's,
physically just
it's like
drained.
that because I'm editing. I'm still editing a pub review that I'm doing, and I'm nearly there. I had so much footage, I had to cram it and crop it and get it all together, and it like nearly 2 days, like here, there, and a couple of hours here and there in 2, 3 days just to get the music right where you want it, and to mute one sort of video so you can dub the music over the top of that footage of the video to get rid of the video audio. And at the end of it, okay, so you produce it, and I was like, oh, thank Christ for that. Then you go, I now got to load it to YouTube. It's like, fuck that, I'll do that tomorrow. It's just like it gets that way. You get to the end of it, oh, thank Christ I've done it. But 2 days or 3 days or a week editing, and then it's like, oh, now I got to load it to YouTube and make a thumbnail. I haven't even done that yet, so it does take it out of you. That's what I'm trying to say. Is you get knackered doing it, and you're just looking at the computer screen all the time, and but it is rewarding, especially when you get people liking it and having a comment and your regulars. And I only got 390 subs, but I know they're all loyal because they're all hanging around. Because sometimes it takes a while for me to get a video, especially out lately, because it's just been too busy and hectic around Christmas. But you got the ones they hang around and like I said, just bikers support each other and channels support each other. So you got your regulars. Exactly.
Absolutely. And I still stand by I've been saying this for the longest time, is that having 1,000 dedicated subscribers. There's people that've got hundreds of thousands of subscribers and they don't have 1,000 dedicated subscribers. If you had 1,000 dedicated subscribers, you would be very successful and very pleased, because like you said, they're loyal, they're going to comment, they're going to watch your stuff, they enjoy what you're putting out. And so, I mean, that's important. It's really important.
Yeah, my sort of goal, and always has been, is try to get a decent, healthy amount of subs, which is where I'm sort of at now. But I definitely like to get the 500 or 400, so I'm nearly there. And once, I'll be really happy with that. And then whatever happens after that, so be it. But I'm not quite there, but I'm nearly there. And I know the ones I got are loyal. And it's just I've got to be more consistent in putting things out. And it's a bit hard to do when life gets in the road sometimes. So life comes first, and family and all that, as you know.
Absolutely.
It's like I've always wanted to do 100-mile, the Iron Butt Challenge, but over here, our roads and highways aren't as long as yours, because I can ride 6 hours north, but then I'm at 3 hours north, and I'm at Coffs Harbour, and that's a little town you got to get through. There's no highway past it, and then if I go 3 hours south, I got to go through the big city of Sydney, and it'll mess up your times to try and get your 24 hours in for the 1,000 mile or the 1,600 Ks as it'll be over here. And you have to be riding around in circles, ride north. I planned one out one time. I had to ride north to about Grafton and then back down again before I get to the cities about 3 or 4 times to make up the full 1,600 Ks for the 1,000 miles. And I thought, oh, no, it's the too hard basket for me, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I never even thought of that with that type of struggle. Let's see here. Big Bird, are you always completely satisfied when you drop your videos? Oh, boy. I would say I'm never 100% satisfied. Even with the films, like Every Mile of Memory took 6 weeks to edit, and it's only 22 minutes long, but it was, that's where the emotional draining thing comes out.
Yeah, for sure.
And as soon as you upload it, I mean, I still find things that, maybe I didn't choose the best shot for that, or maybe I should have told a different backstory. And I look back, even like Sturgis Doesn't Care. It's not, believe it or not, a lot of people don't know, it's not completely done yet. And that's been now 3 years in the making. It's only an 8-minute video. And I'm trying to get the final version for film festivals done. And so that, you're always going to find something that with your films that you could have done a little bit better. And there's been several YouTubers, big name YouTubers, Peter McKinnon and things like that, that go by the uh, good enough is better than perfect. So if it's good enough, at least just get it out there. And you learn from it. I think the things that I find along the way, I will try to adjust for the next film and the next video. But yeah, I've never launched a video and been like, oh, this is perfect. And
Yeah,
you're always going to be your own worst critic. So
exactly right. And I was like that as being a screen printer, and I was doing t-shirts at home in the garage on the side, and it was only a hobby, and I didn't really want to make a big money spinner of it, but you know your own faults because you're a perfectionist, or I was anyway, or am. And it was like, nah. It's just got to the point, nah, I'm done playing in the garage printing shirts. I want to go out and ride because I'm over 50 now and there's not much left, so I want to go and enjoy it.
yeah,
But
man.
even like you're saying, even, I'll do a video and put it out and goes, oh, that didn't work. I shouldn't have had that song there. I wanted to cut before that, but it's gone over that, and it's just you're always picking your work to pieces. I
Yeah, and
know
I
I
think
am.
I think that's why I don't do. I mean, we always have that debate with other creators, and I've had the conversation with like Adam Sandoval several times because there's a choice that you make on the quantity versus quality and what's going to be more successful on YouTube, and it is a proven statistic that
Yeah,
quantity is going to far outreign quality. Just because you're going to get more chances to be in front of people, and that's how your channel is going to grow is the quantity. Now, for me, it's just not my personal style, and I haven't
yeah,
had the opportunity to let some of my own inner uh, challenges go when I look at product that I'm producing for this channel. I scrap a lot of stuff I've created. I've get either halfway done or completely done, and then I'm like, that's just not going to go on the channel. And a lot of people say that's terrible for me to do that, but it's never going to be what it's about as far as getting quantity. I would love to put out more content, and eventually I think that I'll find a way to do that where I can find that happy medium. I'm just
yeah,
not there yet.
yeah. No, exactly right. And yeah, I'd rather quality over quantity, and it was always sort of been like that. But then, is your quality up there with the others? That's the problem. Anyway, but second question there is, what other hobbies do you have not bike related? Obviously, we've been talking about one.
Yeah, I would say that photography 100% is my second, and it's usually has nothing to do with motorcycle photos. It is
Yeah,
something that you know, for me, it kind of still keeps a camera in my hand and I enjoy it, but it's not motorcycle or film related, so I get a chance to kind of take a break. And every winter at this particular time, believe it or not, around this time, I go through just a absolute obsession with photography. And like last year, the wife and I, we would go downtown San Diego at
yeah.
nighttime,
I
get
was
there.
just about to say that too. I like the ones where you rode downtown and you just took photos of buildings, and it was during the day. And then I think you got your drone up and did the main street. And yeah, just a photo, like just like I was saying, you just have an eye for it. You can just go down the street. And, yeah, I'd take a photo of a building and it just look like a building, but you just got an eye and the angle of how to produce your photos.
Yeah, and it's a good release for me. I'm actually in the debate right now. Like I'm never going to stop making content on this channel. Like this channel is always going to have just motorcycle centric stuff, but I need an outlet for things that I'm doing outside of
Yeah,
motorcycle stuff, and it does not do well. So I didn't do too many of those videos of me going down and taking photos because a lot of people just didn't enjoy it.
yeah,
That's not why they came to my channel. So I want to give people what they actually came there for. So I'm actually in debate right now of starting a second channel that has to do with more videography and photography based stuff so that I don't have to produce anything on my channel for Full Throttle Hog that people just didn't come there for. And if they're interested, they can go to that other channel and go from there.
Yeah.
So I'm in debate, but having two channels, I mean, one channel is hard enough with life, but
Exactly right. I was thinking about that too, like, because the whole camping side of things, because Mrs. Smitty's got osteo in her hands. I was nearly going to buy a bike, but we couldn't. So we camp a fair bit. So I was nearly two minds, like you said, maybe camping one and then stick the other one, keep the other one as the bike related. But then I thought, no, independent freedom, you're out camping, you're out and amongst it. And I just, like I said, one's hard enough. So I'm just sticking with the one. Like I said, the loyal ones will stick around and others will falter. So, yeah.
and I think if I had to do it all over again, I think I probably would have added a lot more diversity to the channel. It probably would have grown a little slower, but like you said, it'd be people that were there for any type of content I'd throw out there. But because it's so niche down into motorcycle stuff, and that's where the growth came from. I don't want to ever rob anybody from that. So I will probably have to do something else in the future.
Yeah, no, exactly. But all right. A third one is it's a drones. What's your worst drone experience you've encountered? And part two of the thing is favorite band you've seen live.
Oh wow. Okay, so my drone worst experience. I hit a power line one time. The drone actually did not crash,
Yeah,
but it did almost crash, and I tore up the props. But I knew better. But depth perception changes when you think that you got clearances. I've been very, very, knock on wood,
yeah,
lucky with my drone experiences and kind of pushing the envelope and getting out of it. And I'll come back and I'll review the footage and I'll be like, man, I got really lucky there. I mean, you know, I should have lost that drone. I mean, I've flown that drone up the K River, in a place where I shouldn't have got out of it. That drone should be soaking wet. But the drone still has its scuffs and marks from that. And one of the things people have to realize too is that the drones are pretty resilient. They
yeah,
can take a beating. I've seen drones crash, and for the most part, they'll bounce back, maybe replace a blade or two. But I've gotten really lucky. But second part of that question, favorite band I've ever seen. So I will tell you, I saw Garth Brooks. I've seen Garth Brooks several times, and I'm a big Garth Brooks fan. He puts on a great show. That's up there. One of the oh man, it's so hard. I've seen a lot of great shows. I'm a big country fan. I would say if I had to stick to recent, it's hard. I mean, I've seen one. So the wife took me to a Metallica concert here in San Diego, and I will tell you, the Metallica concert was fantastic to see because it was Metallica, and we were on the floor. It was so loud though that I honestly believe that I have permanent hearing damage because of that concert. So that took away from that experience a little bit. Maybe I'm just getting old. I don't know.
Could be.
But Papa Roach this past year at Sturgis.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
I was blown away. I'd never seen them live.
Yeah.
And it
That'd
was
be good.
fantastic.
And didn't Rob Zombie play there this year too? Or was that last year?
I'm not sure. I actually don't know. I missed it.
I've seen obviously footage on IG, and I'm sure Rob Zombie played there. I don't know which venue though. One of the joints in Sturgis. So that's one I would have loved to go and seen. Papa Roach, that would have been cool.
Yeah, so that they really did a great show, and the military biker was there for that one, and we were having a good time. So
Scouse. He's a crack up. He's a top bloke. We had a few drinky sessions on lives and at his lives and all that. And both Liverpool supporters, so we've got soccer to talk about. Well, football in his case, but I call it soccer. And my worst drone experiences, I was a cheapy one. It was a Christmas present. I pushed the one finger launch button and it didn't come back. It just fucked off. It went zing. and kept going.
Oh, flyaway. Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah, and they're going, oh, okay.
There she goes.
There she goes. I was on the phone to the missus. Bah, 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 bah. This big fucking text about this long. She could tell I wasn't happy.
Oh yeah.
I bought it. Oh, my boys bought me a drone last year. I got the Mini 2. And because the weather's been so shit here, I haven't been able to chance to fly it. And recently the weather's been all right, but I've still been just reluctant to get it out because of that experience of pushing the one finger launch and away it went. But I know the DJI drones are really good and all that. I just got to get the balls to get out and have a practice.
Yep. And then you can put it on, kind of a beginner mode where it will only let you go a certain amount of distance away. Stays within a geofence, which I'd highly recommend. And then, yeah, the GPS for DJI is phenomenal. So you shouldn't have any issues with flyaway there.
That's right. And then with the 2 too, it's got the hasn't got the Wi-Fi connection. It's got the new one. It's like the Air 2s, I think. They got a much better connection, which is the whole reason I went for the little Mini 2. And because of the under the weight, you don't have to have your license and all that with the under the weight drone over here.
Yep.
But ones I do like is the Skydio drones you guys got over there, the tracking ones. I watched one. This bloke was running through the forest and it was following him and it didn't hit a thing. But other drone pilots over here, Mars, he said, they're not allowed in Australia for some reason. They won't allow them in Australia. So,
wow.
Yeah, I would have got one of them because that would have been ideal.
Yeah, I've played with those drones before. I mean, they do have so basically the drone itself and the atomics of what it's going through, it 3D prints everything. And so therefore it will not, like they say, it's like the drone you cannot crash. The only problem with that is it does not perform well in low light. So you have to have the perfect conditions, and that's the reason that I stick with the DJI, but I love its tracking capabilities.
Oh, exactly. Because I was I think I hit him up for question. I hit someone up a question and I said this. I was looking at the DJI and then the Skydios, and they ended up saying, "Yeah, no, go the DJI. For what I wanted to do, the one I got is ideal. I just want to put it up, get a pan around the place, and then obviously a few angle shots and basic stuff, obviously, and then slowly get better after that."
Yeah.
I got to get out and fly it first. So that's probably the first thing I got to do. The Skydio 2 is the drone I have.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Eric. Yeah. Because that one I looked at, it was the Avatar. I think it was the Sky. Is that the blue one? The blue and black and blue one?
Black. Yep.
Yeah, mate, they look awesome. This fellow was running through a pine forest, and it was going like this. And then another bloke tested him in the trees. He set it off in there, and it made its own path to get back to him. Yeah. And I think they're amazing. I'd have one of them if we could in Australia. But then, like you said, then if you want a decent, have to be spot on light and all that, and which is what you want to try and sort of get your quality up and stick with good quality over quantity. That's always for. But no, that's a good one. I remember watching Adam too when he first did his drone one. He rode off with his missus, and the drone lost contact, and he rode all the way back 20 minutes back down the hill, and here it was parked on the side of the road. It went back to where he flew it away from.
Yep.
And the drone was really hot. And he says, I'll go back. He said on the film, he says, I'll go back where I started and see if off chance it might be there. And he went back there, and here's the drone sitting on the side of the road where he launched it.
Yeah, and some of the DJI drones, I mean, you're able to, it'll stay with the remote controller. But like the Mini Air 2s and things like that, you actually have to update the home point manually as you go. Or if you get too far away, lose a signal, then it will just fly back to where it started.
Go back, which is good, because that's what you want. At least you know where you launched it from previously, and zoom back there and have a crack at it.
Yep.
All right, question 4. I like this one. Tell us something mischievous about yourself that your oldies don't know about.
Oh boy. Yeah. So I would I would probably have to say that during that first film, we were this old guy when he was younger, I will tell you, was doing the whole stunt thing on a motorcycle before the stunt thing on the motorcycle was even a
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
at least on a street bike. So I was, I'm a bigger guy. I'm 6'3" and 230 pounds. Uh, so the film Up on One was only the 13th motorcycle film that came out on DVD at the time. There was only a few others before us. And so there was a stunt that was called an elevator that only one other person on film that we'd ever seen. His name was Jason Britton. At the time, he's at a Long Beach, and that's basically where you're going down the road at 40 miles an hour, and you jump from your foot pegs up to your gas tank with no hands. So, and so here I am out with my buddies. We're filming on some road that doesn't even have inlets or outlets, and I'm having them hold the bike and I'm training. And I remember my buddy comes up to me and he goes, "Look, big guys do not detach themselves from the motorcycle. It's just something you shouldn't do." And I was like, "Oh, you're probably right." But I did it anyway. But it did not come without some crashes that were caught on film that are in that video. So I would say that's probably one of the things I would say. A lot of people just don't know that. It's something of the past.
Yeah. Up on One. I'll have to Google that and see if I can find it.
I'm trying to think if I might have one of the DVDs somewhere in my studio here, just so I can see it. Yeah, it's still I'm sure you could find it. But it's got I can't see one of the. I should keep one in here just in case we talk about it.
So that would have been around or just before all the Crusty Demons sort of era.
About the same time. About the same Crusty Demons. Yeah, were
early 90s.
Yeah. So I used to watch Crusty Demons on on VHS tape.
Yeah,
so
same. I remember. Yeah. I remember the first time I seen it, or at home having breakfast, and I had a little TV beside us, and it was Sports Sunday they have over here, and it just goes all the sports, and they promo all videos and shit. And I'm sitting there watching, and it goes, "We're going to an ad," and then they did the short ad of the video, and it was when Seth did that big sand dune jump, and it was just going and going. I'm sitting on the corner of my eye, and he's going and going, and I'm going, "Fucking hell, he's going a fair way. I'm going to watch him land this." And then they cut it off and went to the ad. So obviously when it come back, I wanted to see what had happened. And obviously that's when he's laying on the ground, and they said, "Man, you got some serious problems. You need to work out with yourself," they said to him. And I thought, that's an awesome line. He's there laying with cracked ribs and probably a busted jaw, and they're putting shit on him, which is the Aussie and the American way, I guess.
Yeah, that's actually the area, pretty close to the area where where I took Adam off-roading. Like all the Crusty Demons of Dirt was filmed out in Superstition and Ocotillo Wells and Ocotillo, and then Glamis Sand Dunes. Those guys would be out there filming all the time.
And also Pismo Beach, is that out there, or is that
Pismo Beach? That's a little north. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Because I remember seeing that on there all the time, Pismo Beach and all that, and then they had other ones where they're riding the black sands of Hawaii and all that. Yeah, no, it's pretty loose. That's for sure. Yeah. Awesome. We're up to number 5. Tell us your most favourite sport you have played or watched on telly. So, yeah.
Oh, let's see. So I was a football player, and that's still something I enjoy watching. American football. I do love. What's that?
Favorite team?
Well, that's kind of a sore subject, but I guess we can touch base on it for a second. So I was a diehard Chargers fan. I'm kind of a homer. Being in San Diego Chargers, but they moved to LA. And if you know anything about California, and especially, Southern California, there's no way on this planet that anybody from San Diego will root for an LA team. So the second they moved there, I stopped being a fan. And I just am a fan of the sport now. I think that's the Chargers will come back to San Diego, and when they do, or any team that does, I will.
Well, the Rams did that, didn't they? The Rams were at St. Louis, then they went to LA, and then aren't they back at St. Louis again now?
Vice versa. So they were in LA, they went to St. Louis, and now they're back in LA.
Oh, righto, because I started going for the Rams. Yeah, that's right. Exactly right. You got it right. Yeah, the LA Rams. Then they went to St. Louis, and then they're gone back to LA again. Yeah, that's sort of way back in the 80s. I started following them only because they were, at the time, I was going for Parramatta as a kid. My best mate was a Parramatta supporter, and they were blue and yellow, so that's the only reason I went for them. And they were sort of winning at the time. So, oh, yeah, they're a good team. I'll pick them. I've been supporting them all the time. And my brother played footy in Canberra and Woden Valley Rams, so it's sort of stuck with the code, and they were the same colours. But
Yeah, I'm starting to get into watching Formula One racing, though. We'll tell you that's something I never thought I would get into, and I absolutely love it. I love the whole thing about it. And there's a good series on Netflix that the wife and I watched.
Yeah,
Drive to Survive is the name of the series, and it's all about Formula One. So I knew nothing about Formula One besides the fact that I like fast cars, and it really kind of shows you what goes on behind the scenes, and you have a lot of respect for it.
Chargers can eat rocks.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about right there.
Yeah. But thanks, man, for popping in and sitting in, Dave. He must be one of your fans.
Yeah. Yep.
He's sort of newbie in the side chat for us. And awesome. Peach, she loves F1 racing too. Yeah.
There you go.
I love anything motorsport. Everyone says, like, what's your favorite sport? I got motorsport. Anything. I love speedway. I love watching the long track, and I love. My brother was. I got two older brothers, 8 and 11 years older than me, and that's sort of when I learnt to ride. When I was 6 on a little 50, my brothers were racing motocross on club day weekends, motocross, and the other one to race midgets, speedway, little 500cc, motorbike engine cars. And whenever they were racing, we'd watch them, but then waiting for the next race, I'd be on my little 50 riding around the pits learning to ride. And I rode since I was 6. My old man gave me a little MR50, and I was hooked from day one straight away, and I loved it and just progressed from there. I've been riding ever since and loved the dirt. So my favourite sport then, even growing up in high school, was obviously trail bikes, motocross, enduros. Love watching them. But enduro is a bit hard to watch because you know what they're like. But like speedway and motocross, like I just love watching them trying to hit the dunes and hit the doubles and the whoops and around the cutting each other off and undersiding each other and everything. Is like, yeah, this is awesome. So I love motorsport, anything like that, dirt, road, and even all the F1s like the GP. I mean, the bikes. There is an Aussie in there. He's sort of not doing the best, but back in the day, Mick Doohan and Wade Gardner and all that, we used to die-hard GP watching 500s back then when they were 2 strokes before they went up the big Vs. But,
that was the Valentino Rossi era.
Yeah, he came, and then also there was the other fella, Max Biaggi. I remember.
Max Biaggi.
Yeah, Max Biaggi and all that. Like, was it him or Rossi? One of them, I think, might have been Rossi. And when he did 125s, his first race, he crashed. But then after that, his second race onwards, he dominated and became champion. Did the same thing in his 250s. First race, crashed, got back on it, dominated. And then his 500s, first 500 race, crashed, and then went back on it. And we all know how big a star he was. I'm pretty sure it was,
I think you're right. I think it was Valentino. I just remember I used to love listening to the sportscaster shout out Valentino Rossi.
He's done it again.
Yep. Yeah, it's good
and then
stuff.
The superbikes. I love the superbikes. Troy Corser, and he was an awesome rider on the Dukes back in the day with Swanson, Rainey, and all them, and even you guys, Roberts, Kenny Roberts, and all that. Yeah,
Nicky Hayden.
Yeah, and the other motocross fellow that went superbike, what was his name? I can't remember. There was another one. I know he's a motocross rider, and he went racing superbikes, and he did all right too.
Reed? Was it Reed? Was it Reed or? I used to love watching Bubba Watson. I can tell you that much on a dirt bike, man. He was awesome. Yeah,
I
I can't
know
remember.
way back when Chad Reed was racing over your supercross over there, and Carmichael, Ricky Carmichael.
Ricky Carmichael, yeah.
Yeah, he was good. And Danny Ham, and I think he was Australian. But yeah, love it. Love motorsport. That's for sure.
Agreed.
All right. Halfway or thereabouts. Number 6. All right, yeah. This is a bit out there, this one.
Okay.
Okay. What celebrity does it for you? The one you wouldn't kick out of bed.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Man. You know, it's an interesting question.
Mine's, they'll say it in the side chat because I can never remember a name. I like Sandra Bullock, and then Catherine Zeta-Jones, and sort of the dark hair, but the Mexican chick, Salma Hayek, whatever her name is.
Selma Hayek, yeah.
Yeah, that's her. I remembered this time. All the other ones type it in the comments for me because I go that Mexican chick all the time. They all know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I can't. I'm terrible with celebrity names though. Like, so
I am too. That's why I couldn't remember the name. Like, I rely on the side chat usually to tell me.
Yeah, with that one. I mean, obviously, this is just kidding. The wife's watching this, right? So this is just.
I know everyone's
no, I would say that maybe the female from the what's that one movie? Hang on, it's coming to me. The Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh yeah. But who's that? Wolf of Wall Street, the chickie in that.
Yeah. All right. So
I can't remember her name. I've only seen the highlights the other day. I didn't actually watch the movie.
Oh, the movie's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Leonardo DiCaprio and that. Yeah. I know who you're talking about, but yeah, I don't know her name either. It's always an interesting one. It catches people off guard, and they go, "Oh yeah," and a bit like yourself, they go, "Oh, I can't say too much because the other half's watching." And Margaret Robbie, is that her?
I don't know.
Yeah, probably. He goes, "Yeah, act like you don't know. Good job." Sounds like Dave knows you quite well.
Dave.
Yeah, you don't want to own up, Dave. Yeah. All right. Isn't it? It's an easier one. It's a bit of a settler after that one. It's like,
hey,
what's your poison?
Scouse is here.
Beer, spirits, cider, and what's your hangover brekkie? Best hangover brekkie?
Oh boy. I go through different kicks, honestly. I do enjoy scotch. A Callan 12 if I'm drinking scotch.
Yeah.
And but I like my whiskeys. And if I'm going to be drinking beer, it's going to usually, in the summertime, it's always going to be something light, right? So it's going to be probably a Bud Light. And then I like my IPAs. And I haven't found one for the hangover yet, but it's usually any type of hair of the dog.
Yeah, hair of the dog. That's the way. Haven't had that response too much. Normally they go, "Oh, bacon and eggs or something greasy."
Yeah.
Big breakfast.
Yeah, I don't really typically would want a huge breakfast. I mean, if anything, I would have. I mean, we're in California, so that's a funny story. Scouts made us all drink Crown Royal during Sturgis, like shot after shot. That's all he kept on saying. That's what he wanted. So now he's trying to poke fun.
Yeah.
So no, I mean, like out here, I mean, we have hands down the best Mexican food on the planet, right? So I would say a good breakfast burrito might be it, but I think it would have to be some type of hair of the dog to get me back to neutral.
Exactly right. It's like when you go to a bike rally, you wake up the next day, the first one tastes shit, but then the second one you're drunk again, so it don't matter. You're just like kicking on.
Yeah.
I remember back when I was a teenager, we all walked from the club up to the takeaway shop, which was called Keppers at the time, and the bacon and egg rolls were just lined up. They were just cooking bacon and egg rolls and just get the grease in your gullet.
Yeah, I do not like hangovers. I can tell you that much. I don't think anybody does like hangovers, but I always get mad at those people that do not get hangovers. Like they just don't get them. I think I get them all.
Yeah, mine's usually just a headache, but then you do have the ones where they're really big and you're a bit seedy. So they're usually a real big one. They're a good one for me when it gets to that stage. It's like, nah.
Yeah, and it just takes away from your creativity the next day. I don't find myself being as productive. It's just, it is one of those things where I'd rather just stay away from it. Oh, thanks, dude.
I agree. Scouse for sure. Exactly right. And I think Rogers isn't too far behind you. He's really good as well. Like how was he over here? He's a photographer also.
Which one is it?
Harley Throttle Juice.
Oh yeah.
Roger and Michelle. Yeah, awesome
man.
drone footage and great. They banter off each other, and they were no wonder they're going gangbusters. They just got the whole shebang. They got it all happening. And number 8, what drink you have and swear never to touch again.
Okay, so that would be Jim Beam. I will never do Jim Beam again. And it's a funny story. So I lived down at the beach in a really nice place that, there would always be constant parties. And Mrs. Peach is saying that she doesn't get hangovers. See, those type of people. I can't hang out with them because they can party and then next day they're like, woo. But I just, I'm kind of a competitive guy. I like friendly competition. And we're at my place. I'm having some people over, and we start, in this complex. It was almost like a resort, but they had a big pool there, and I start running my mouth after drinking pretty much all night long, and challenging somebody to race in the pool, right? And the loser had to drink a mug full of Jim Beam. Now, I didn't know at the time that this guy was like a college swimmer. Right? I had no idea.
So
oh man, I lost royally, and had to own up to it and drink this mug full of Jim Beam. I got so sick that even now, I mean, I do like Jack Daniels, but if anybody wants to, give me a Jim Beam, if I'm at a bar, a casino, or whatever, and they give me a Jim Beam and tell me that it's Jack, it takes 1 second for me to go back and I go, I promise you, this is not Jack Daniels. This is Jim Beam.
Yeah, I know the difference too between Jim Beam and Jack. I'm JD, but Jack, I like Jack and Jim. I can't handle. I don't like Jim Beam at all. Everyone
when you go travel
they're
too,
same, but they're not.
Yeah, they're not nearly the same. There's a completely different taste to it, and my wife and I will go travel. We go to like Dominican Republic. And we'll be down there and I'll order, Jack Daniels. And then they try to give it to me. I'm like, this is not Jack Daniels. Like, oh, no, it's Jack Daniels. And then they try to show me a bottle of Jack. I was like, no, you put Jim Beam in that Jack Daniels bottle. Trust me. Yeah. I got sick and I will never, ever forget that taste.
Exactly right. Yeah. Well, mine's Black Russians. Similar sort of story. We pulled up in Ulladulla, which I was used to travel from Sydney to Ulladulla. And I get home Friday arvo, the boys would be at the pub. And we had about 15 rounds of beer, schooners of beer, and then a shout were in. There was about 5 of us. And then we got onto the spirits, and it was Black Russians and Dirty Mothers. And we had about 3 rounds of them, like doubles and then triples. And then it's the only time I could not see the end of a 3/4 size pool table playing pool. I was pretty shit-faced. And it's like, wow, that night I definitely hurled somewhere, but it's just like since then I won't touch a Black Russian again.
I'm pretty sure Scouse is never going to touch Crown Royal ever again after
Royal again.
After our
the
next morning we were not all feeling good at all.
Yeah,
It was actually my doing there. I give him a hard time saying it was his, but that was the only thing really that they had.
Yeah. Oh, would have been good, but not good. Would have been good to drink with, but the Royal I probably wouldn't have had. Never again. He's gone there.
There you go.
Exactly right.
So much for traditions.
Yeah, me and Scouse have had a few drinkies on the line, that's for sure. When he's had his happy hours and whatnot.
Oh, he's so much fun to hang out with. We had a blast. We had a blast over the chip.
No, we always have a blast when we on a live and whatnot. Same fucking banter and everything, put shit on each other, as you do. It's the only way to be. Anyway, number 9, we're getting there. What's the best party or celebration that you've been to or thrown? Or what's your best party?
Honestly, I would probably have to say the release party for the Up on One film back in 2001, 2002, somewhere there. My buddy at the time, so there was 13 of us in this that were involved in this project, and one of them worked for the Grand Hyatt. And so we had set up a ballroom in the Grand Hyatt. We'd brought our bikes in and roped it all around. We had 2 huge big screen TVs, and not big screen TVs, big, huge projectors. I think they were like 20 foot by 20 foot in this huge hall. And we had been advertising the release because there's no YouTube at this time, right? So we've been advertising the release all the way up and down the state. We went to every bike night possible. And I wanted to do something special for everybody. So got a limousine, started picking up, everybody one by one in this limousine. Everybody's kind of all dressed up. And I remember, my wife at the time, we were just dating, and she was working the event, and I would be in contact with her. There's no really like messages on or like cell phones like we had today, so you call them on the phone on their cell phone. I'd be like, hey, how's it going? She's like, there's nobody here. And so we keep driving around, and we're having drinks in the limo, and finally I get a phone call, and they're like, hey, where are you? I was like, oh, well, we're over at this bar. Like, you need to get here now because there's a line around the corner. And so we had this huge event. Like, we showed up like it was like we were celebrities at the time, red carpet and getting out of the limousine and all these motorcycle enthusiasts there. And I thought, well, it was going to be a disaster of an event. I mean, we had all huge giveaways. It was just a really nice party for a whole bunch of, knuckleheads on motorcycles at that time, just punk kids, really. So I'd probably say that was probably one of the best parties.
It sounds like it too. Like you're all in premiere and all that of the video and all of the show and everything else, and then just sort of the farewell and end of the party or end of the series type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, I have plenty of parties. Okay, can't just name one. Actually, my 30th was probably the best. I had 3 bands in the backyard. We were supposed to play baseball the next day, but it rained that night, thank Christ, because I wouldn't have made it. And there's only trouble we had was this drunk 30-year-old dancing and moshing around the backyard, broke a garden chair and knocked the sliding door off its hinges, and that would be me. So I had a great hell of a time. Actually, that week I went around the street because we're in a cul-de-sac street. They said there's going to be bands on the weekend. Not everyone's got the same taste in music. It was all heavy. And I said, so I'm just letting you know now, if you're going to go away on the weekend, that we're planning to, this weekend will be ideal. And a couple of neighbours left. Others just sat out the front and listened to the music. Young fellas across the road, we usually have stereo duels, and they come over and, oh, this is awesome. I said, well, come on in. It's all good. So it was one of those type of parties.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. This one's a big one. It's where's the start of it? Like number 10. You're going out on the town to your favourite pub. Like to hook in, like have a big one, like a bender. You get to take 4 people with you. When your choice: past, present. Number 1, actor. 2, family member. 3, singer or band, and 4, your choice.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah.
All right.
I heard this one on a show once and I said, "That's awesome." So I wrote it down and added it to the mix.
Yeah, there's so many great actors out there. I think that if I was going to take an actor, I'd probably be Keanu Reeves because of his love for motorbikes, and we'd be able to talk about other things outside of him being Keanu Reeves. You know what I mean? So it'd be some natural
his bikes that he's designed, the arch. Are they cool?
Yeah,
Are they?
they're expensive.
Until I looked and seen how much they are, I thought, I wouldn't mind one of them. And then it was short lived. So yeah.
When I win the lotto, maybe.
Maybe.
So Keanu Reeves, family member would probably be my mother. She passed pretty young in 2019.
Yeah.
And it'd just be she was into her Chardonnay wines, so that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Probably a singer or a band. So I either get a singer or the complete band.
Yeah, or complete band. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be a party.
Yeah. That's
Motley Crue. There you
go. Yeah. Oh man, there's so many good bands too, and singers. I'd probably say Johnny Cash. Probably have Johnny Cash there with us, and then the 4th person of my choice can be anybody. I'd want to go pretty old school. I'd want to take somebody maybe like Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, you sit back and talk philosophy and everything.
I mean, he's at world class president, and just be interesting to see what happens when you got Abraham Lincoln drunk. Like, what kind of treats could I get?
Yeah, it would be cool,
right?
Yeah, it's
ironically, a couple of those people, if I just watch Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, I'm pretty much having a party with that because I think
exactly.
Abraham.
Yeah, exactly. He was there. So pretty cool dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. As soon as I heard it, I go, "Oh, that's good. I got to add that." And like, with me, be at me local, which is like the Marlin in Ulladulla. And then I thought actor would James Belushi. He'd be awesome. Yeah. And then family member. Well, yeah, probably brother-in-law. He passed when he was 27 in 03. To his own life, so it'd be good to get on the piss with him again. And then, James Belushi, him, it'd be pretty loose just with that. And then a singer and a band. I haven't thought just a singer, Amy Winehouse. And
there you go.
That'd be awesome. And your choice, I probably would take a band, and I'd choose Sublime. Something like that. That'd be a real party mix. That one, I reckon. They'd be all up dancing and carrying on. So
Sublime would be a good one. That's a good list right there. I want to be invited.
Yeah, for sure. And I say Sublime. I really love their Blessing album, like Sublime and with Rome. You think Rome sings with them and all that.
He does a good job.
That's a really awesome album. That one. Like,
growing up on Sublime was it was hard for me to make that adjustment with the new singer, but he does a good job. I still like the old school Sublime stuff though.
Yeah. And I'm guessing that Blessing's probably the first one with Rome sort of started singing with them. And it appealed to me. I really love that album. It was really, really nice. Yeah. A good album. Number 12. We're getting there. Not far. It's tattoo one. Tell us about your tattoo, your first tattoo. What type? Black and grey. And if you have not got a tattoo, what's stopped you from getting one?
So I have my family crest on my back. So that was the one tattoo I knew I always wanted, and I went to several different artists, and I got this back in 2002, sometime around there, 2003, and that was the only one I ever really wanted. I've thought about getting more, but they have to mean something, and my family crest was what I put it in between my shoulder blades on my back, and that's it. No color, just a black tattoo.
Black, gray.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a bit of I love black and grey, but then I'll add a bit of colour, just in spots. Like mine all have meaning. The same, like you're saying. For me, they got to have meaning also. That's Blink 182. That's like Scotty, the brother-in-law, was our favourite band at the time, so it's sort of remembrance to him.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then my old man's name. He had prostate cancer. Didn't know if we're going to keep him or have him still, but he beat it and all that. So it's my old man's name. And Harley, we've got a Harley, and so it's all that one.
Nice, man.
I'm about to finish that. I've been saving the money to get this up. It's going to be all a shark and reef and skull reef and all that, because my favourite team's the Sharks, the Cronulla Sharks. So that's going to be the shark theme at the top to finish the sleeve, and a few other more. They all got meaning for sure. My boys' names around my ankle, and love them. I was one of those kids with the Chewy wrappers. You throw the Chewy away and you put all the stickers up your arm.
Oh, yeah.
All the little tattoos.
And bazookas.
Yeah. And I was lucky that I respected my parents, so they knew they fucking hated them. And I didn't really get my first tattoo till I was about 25. So, and then I was hiding it from them and all that, and wearing socks because I had my ankle band, and then I got the two hot ones. Summer, I said, "Fuck this," and pulled them. Oh, you're tattooed like this. Like, yep, too bad. I always liked them, so I was always going to get some. So I'm the black sheep of the family. My brothers don't have any, so you got to be that.
Yeah.
Can't follow suit. You got to step out there.
100%.
But I love them. I love watching them at work. Like, I wish I could draw like that, because the money they make, and then it's a big risk too. Like, you tattoo someone's body, scar them. Like, you want to be fucking good at it, and there is plenty over here, eh? Like, there's one tattooist here, Tennille Napoli or whatever her name is. She owns a Garage Inc. Manor, which is up the Gold Coast, which is 8 hours away from me. But she's got all women tattoo artists in there, and the work they put out is just magic. They're just so great at it. How girls seem to draw better than the dudes do.
Oh yeah, man. That's usually how it is. I mean, I am looking at possibly doing more in the future. I just it's got to be the right thing.
Yeah.
And like you said, you made a good point. The right tattoo artist, because
there's a lot out there. And then in saying that, now there is a lot of good ones. So like my next one, I'm going down the Narrabeen down in Sydney to get it done. This fella, he's from overseas working in now I can't remember his name. It's that sort of weird, but his work's pretty good and impressive. And he showed me the artwork of my tattoo design and all that. And I appealed to it and I liked it. So, getting the process. I got another $300 to save up, so it tells you how much it's going to be.
Yeah, they're expensive.
Yeah, exactly right. And number 12. What advice on life would you give the 15-year-old you?
When
if you listen anyway, you probably wouldn't listen anyway at 15.
When your friends tell you to put your videos on YouTube when this thing creates, do it on day one.
Yeah.
So, I think if I would have known how big this platform would have become, having 40 produced films, I could have released them all in the same freaking day. Is that San Diego Zoo video? And because I was in San Diego, it probably would have naturally been, follow along with that for many years. I mean, I will tell you, even of all the mistakes that I've made, though, I mean, I'm a big believer that everything happens for a reason. And, just to, take advantage of moments, create memories of your life. Like I'd rather have the memory than the stuff, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. So, with the passing of my mom at such a young age, it's, all you have at the end of the day is the memories, right? So I think that's why I enjoy videography and cinematography and
Exactly. That's what
photography.
life is. It's one big memory, isn't it? Like you're going through, and all you're reminiscing. I find you're reminiscing all the time, and like I do say, life's short, so live it not to the fullest, but live it safely and to the fullest. But get out and do stuff. Like do what you want to do. Mine would be like, if you want to do it, do it. Don't worry about making a mistake or doing an error or anything like that, because that's what you learn from. And like you just if you do it and you can do it, good. If you can't do it, then we'll try again later on and see if you can do it then. Like just you try, have a go. That's sort of my
Yep.
sort of advice to a 15-year-old, and respectable, of course. Like do it all. Go and do it. Like fucking life's too short. If you learn by your mistakes, that is the main one. Like you might make a big mistake and you won't want to do it again. Like my drone, it's taken me a year to even have a crack at that again, but I plan to. I still got another week to go, but I'm planning to get it out and on an oval somewhere and just fly it around my bike and get started that way and try and do a bit of a new intro for me videos. That's what I'm sort of planning to do in that regard.
Nice.
Two birds with one stone. Do a bit of an intro and try and learn the whole drone thing without it fucking off on me. So
I think you'll be all right. I think you'll enjoy it.
I do too. That's the whole reason why I went to little DJIs, because I know how good they are. And the other one was, like I say, the other one was shonky to start with, so it wasn't pilot error. I just pushed the button and it fucking took off. So, but who knows? It's just one of those things. All right, last question, final question. Future plans for your channel this year, and what you'll be keeping an eye out for, and what's the number one thing on your bucket list?
All right. So future plans. I would like to get out 2 films this year, 2 documentaries in 1 year. I mean, in 2021, I had Sturgis Doesn't Care, and that was the focus. And then 2022 is Every Mile of Memory. I would like to get two docs done in 1 year, along with all just the other content. And then on the bucket list for this year is Laconia. I've never been, and this year is going to be the 100th anniversary. So get a chance to. I haven't rode out east yet, so through Tennessee and Tail of the Dragon and all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be, on the list for this year. But yeah, just kind of focus more, or not focus more, but try to stay focused enough to get 2 films done in 1 year is going to be the battle. But then, getting out east, getting some riding done in the eastern portion of the United States.
Scouts good at well. Canada doesn't care.
Might be onto something. I just travel around and just change the front end, right? So Australia doesn't care, Canada doesn't care. Yeah,
the Don't Care series.
Yeah,
Care Factor. The Care Factor series.
Not a bad idea.
And bucket list. What's sort
of? So the Laconia has always been on my bucket list and getting out east. So I'm gonna include that in. Are you talking about just for this upcoming year or just whenever?
Oh, whenever, bucket, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'd say the international. Getting some things done internationally is definitely high on my list. And being able to document that, I think that we see things better as creatives when you're traveling outside your comfort zone, because I think that, for example, I live in San Diego and I don't nearly take advantage or see the beauty in San Diego because I'm too close to it because I've lived here my entire life. And I think that when you travel, you get a chance to break that tunnel vision of where you're at, and everything is amazing to you. And I think you get a lot of good products done. So you can be more creative.
Yeah, that's it.
Thanks, Kraken.
Just making another banner here. Banner. All right. This is just for everyone in here.
Yeah, absolutely. Fire away.
Yeah. Any questions for our guests? In the side chat, do you want to know it? You Kraken's got one. Thanks, Eric. You've always been a good supporter, and I appreciate it a lot, eh? And no, it's good.
Yeah, these types of things are really good for, you know, connecting with everybody. I mean, live streams, I've always enjoyed watching live streams, and I too have been, you know, stuck on something where I've even been at the gym, right, where I've had to use it and just treat it just like a podcast. And so yeah, live streams are awesome.
Is one any new bikes on the horizon?
You know that there's always that possibility. It is something I do think about all the time, and it's just got to be, the right, bike at the right time. But there's nothing really that I'm eyeing. I mean, I would love to have something, yeah, you know, where you can just like a kind of little, just a hopper around town, whether that be a Dyna and you know, something other than the bagger that I could just zip around town if I'm not doing anything. But my problem I always come back to is I always want my gear with me. I'm always going to want my, you know, my cameras and some type of stabilization system and something that doesn't just fit in a backpack. But there's oftentimes where like, oh, it'd be great just to jam on a Dyna for the night and not have to worry about any of that stuff.
That's like I got all mine's little 91 custom Softail, and it's on Heritage Classic Rego now because it's over 30 years old. But I just got a waterproof bag. I can strap it to me hangers because it's a solo seat just with a bobtail. I don't like the idea of putting a sissy bar or anything on the back because the standard one I took off, and I just like that style. And I'd rather strap as many bags as I can to the front of me hangers than to have a bag, backpack, or anything like that. But I hear you, I'd love a bagger, but I just can't afford another bike. Over here, bikes are so dear. And Regos are a killer over here. Like anything with Harley on it is just so expensive, and they really attack the Harley owners with registrations over here.
Like, what are you paying a year on registration over there?
Well, normally around anywhere from around 800 to nearly $1,000 a year.
Oh man,
yeah. And the killer of that is the green slip. The green slip's like third-party registration. If you hit someone, then you're covered, type of thing, or they're covered. So, but you're on a bike that you're looking after, and you're not going to hit anyone out on purpose. If anything, you got more risk of falling off the thing. So it should be third party on you. And like the third party's $620. Your Rego's $190. Your pink slip, which is like roadworthy certificate, they go over your bike and have a look at it, and that's like $20, $30. And then all adds up to roughly about nearly $800 to $900 per year. But now, because my bike's over 30 years old, I got Club Rego, which is $60 a year for the Club Rego. Then I think it was $90 or something like that for your, or $150 for your historical plates and historical Rego, and that's it. It's like $200 from $900 down to $200. So it's just, I was waiting for that to get over that 30 years where I can go on Club Rego, which is like vintage Rego because it's a classic, and it's knocked $600 off the registration. There is limits. You're only allowed to ride it 60 times a year, but you work it out. It's 52 weeks in a year. You got to ride it once a week to do your 60 60 rides a year, and I sort of never did that before anyway, or I was battling too. So there's still plenty of rides there to get out, because you got to have a logbook and fill a logbook in when you ride it. That's only because of the classic rego. If you don't fill the logbook out, there's big fines for not filling that out, because if it's not filled out, then your bike's unregistered. So you got to fill that book out to go riding, and then once your book's filled out, your bike's actually registered for that day. That's how it sort of works with the cheap rego.
Wow. That's
and then also, it's not a weekend. If you go away on a weekend, you go Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Well, there's 3 rides there. You got to fill it out for the Friday and Saturday and the Sunday. So the 60 days does sort of whittle away. If you go away for a weekend, you might use 3 in a weekend compared to like once a week.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but that suits me, because go riding and all that in that way. Is that?
It's in Long Beach. Yeah, we're talking Mexican food. So,
right,
Casa Moreno in Long Beach. Oh yeah, I bet. I can only imagine. It's kind of funny when I travel around and I see different places, and I'm meeting with people, and they're like, "Hey, yeah, let's go out for dinner," and they're like, "We're gonna go have Mexican food," and I'm like, "Okay, I guess."
Yeah,
just because they're so used to. But
okay, Bert, thanks for popping in.
Take care, Bert.
And Dark Rose, she's clairvoyant. I've been trying to get her on a live for years, and she just popped in to say hi. Thanks very much. You've caught the tail end of it, but I really appreciate you popping in and saying hi. That's for sure.
Dark Rose.
Awesome.
I don't think I'm familiar with Dark Rose, but let me put this in my stuff. Where's she out of?
I was in Florida last time I sort of picked up on, but yeah, she's a bit of a clairvoyant, and she's pretty on the money.
Awesome.
I was going to get her on and tweak the questions, and will be. We might get there one day. It's just hard, like you know how it is. So, Eric, cheers, mate.
Take care, dude.
And also, I got another YouTube channel in the UK. They're in the paranormal activity and go out to spooky places, and with the watching meter and listen to the ghost talk to them and things like that. I'm trying to get them on for a live chat as well, just to sort of mix the lives up a bit. You get a few, just a couple, not so bike related ones, just once so often do a special guest like that, and it's interesting to hear their side of the story and how they started their channels and things like that. So,
yeah, man.
Yeah, that's probably my future for this year. I've been trying to do it for the last couple of years, but I'm hoping this year to get a couple more guests on other than bike related, just to see what their channels are like and to sort of interest me and think what I reckon other people would be interested in.
Heck yeah.
Cool. Any other questions? Oh, I haven't got a question, but like if you ever see Adam Sandwell, tell him I said hi. He's the one that sort of inspired me and to do all this and way back, like I said, when he was still traveling around the Harley dealerships and the K River was a thought. But
man.
Started. Yeah.
You'll have to come out and let me know when you come out and go to the K River.
Oh, definitely.
I'll get out there and
I'll be able to tell you if I end up doing. That's my bucket list to get over there, and I'd love to do the roads around Sturgis and all that, and Rushmore and Needles, just whatever one's in that close vicinity.
Oh yeah,
Badlands and they're probably all over the shop. They're probably way off.
You can hit a lot of that stuff, while just enjoying the Sturgis rally. But all that, all that, even going from there down, I will tell you, through Arkansas and down through Oklahoma, it really is amazing.
Yeah, and that'd be awesome. Okay, well, we might call it, guys. So thank you very much. Thanks, Ryan.
Hey, awesome. Thanks for having me on. Happy New Year to you.
yeah, and everyone in the chat, thanks very much, and for popping in and hanging out. Hour and a half, that's the norm. We usually takes about an hour and a half to have a bit of a chin wag and answer the questions. We've had a couple of Aussie ones go over the 2 hour mark because they're too busy fucking sledging each other and carrying on, and as we are. But nah, that's good. Thanks very much. And Scousey, we'll have to have a drinky session again, mate. Awesome. Okay. Thanks very much, guys. We'll end the broadcast, and cheers. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Awesome.